Hi guys, new package at the door. I think it's going to be a new toy that I ordered from eBay. Let's go see if it's actually what I think it is. Oh, check it out. I love getting new toys. Okay, we're going to go inside and open this thing up, see what it looks like. What's going on? This is Doug for the Full Earth Workshop. Today, we're going to discover K&O. So, who in the world were K&O? Well, actually, a company that sold really cool hobby products between the 1950s and the 1960s. Now, just think, you might have seen some old photographs from New York Central Park back in the 50s and 60s, where kids would gather and have a small boat regatta on the water. It was one of the big post-World War II hobbies. Model boats, along with spin dizzies, better known as tether cars, became extremely popular during this time. So what do we have here and what makes it so special? Well, it's very possible that these old K&O boat motors may be the finest that will ever be built. You see, these are perfect in detail to the full-size boat motors that they were modeled after. These were die-cast parts that were extremely durable and very expensive to manufacture. In 1953, K&O, a Japanese company, started manufacturing Evinrude boat motors. Not sure what the scale is of these motors, but I would say somewhere between 1/10 and 1/8 scale. These motors sold really well, so K&O followed it up with selling Johnson, Mercury, Scott Atwater, Gale Buccaneer motors, and even Oliver motors. You know the tractor folks, Oliver? They also had a line of plastic motors and some generic motors that they made, but they never really had the popularity of these branded motors because they were so true to form. Here's one example of a K&O motor. This is a 1957 40 horsepower version. When we pop the top, it really shows its age. It looks about 70 years old here. This motor was good for the day, but by today's standards, it's very unbalanced, very low power. According to some people, 6 volts is about max for these motors too, because they are unbalanced. And that makes it a little more difficult, with today's RC being somewhere between 7.4 volts or 11.1 volts. I became aware of these motors probably about 5 years ago, and I've been watching them on sales, and it started about $150, maybe about 3 years ago, and now it seems that the entry-level price for something that's in good shape is around $300, and then the prices go all the way up into the thousands. There are people that literally collect these things by the hundreds. This motor I bought for a little bit over $200, and it needs a little bit of restoration. I think a full paint job will probably be necessary. I'm going to have to create some decals for this motor, and then I think internally it's going to need some work too. It seems like there's a little problem down in the gears, and we'll see what we have to fix on that. You kind of take a chance when you buy these from eBay and not from collectors. You never know what you're going to get, but I think a cleanup alone is going to really help this particular model. This particular motor was designed by the very famous designer Raymond Loewy back in the 1950s, and I think that's maybe one reason I like it. The Jack Browning collection is what I was referring to earlier. That gentleman had over 400 motors in his collection. There are some very rare motors that collectors keep their eyes out for, but overall, the most valuable line of these motors tends to be the Mercuries. But for me, these Scott Atwater motors from the late 50s are the most attractive. So what do people do with these motors? If you go to the channel of Eric Jimenez on YouTube, you'll see some videos like this. He's taken these old motors, taken the 70-year-old motor out of the interior, and he's replaced it with a digital motor. We're talking brushless, much higher performance, very small, better usage of electricity, and listen, they sound like the real thing. Well, the next time you see this motor, it'll be during a teardown and a complete restoration. And you know what? We need you on hand for this very righteous, this very worthy task. So take the time to subscribe and hit the bell.